Hello everybody, today we're going to take a look at the Sylvania Road LED and Street LED panel, okay? And we're going to take a look at the differences. Now these of course are just the panels, they're not the actual fittings, okay? They're just the panels. The fittings are over here. As you can see, I dismantled them and took the panels out of them so I can show you them, okay? So I'm going to show you both of the panels and we're going to take a quick look at them and show you how nicely and how heavily built they are and how good quality they are compared to a lot of other rubbish. Okay, so this one here is the street LED panel, this square one, as you can see there. This one here has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 LED globes on it. This one here was made on the 22nd of the 5th, 2014. Apparently the date's been put on backwards, obviously. Because I think this was made in America, I don't know, but they are very good quality panels. This thing, I've described the weight, they've got a bit of weight to them. They're quite heavy, okay, and quite very thick and expensive looking. That just shows how good nicely built they are. So this is the street LED panel. This rectangle one here is the road LED panel. Okay, so this is one that's in the road LED. Okay, now to disconnect these, the wire that goes in here, I actually had to take this cover off to get it out because apparently, unlike this one where you have this plug on here, this one obviously doesn't. If anyone knows where I can get a plug like this, I could probably put one on there, but it's just alright. The screws are loose anyway. Now this road LED panel actually has more bulbs. Okay, so this one has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38. So this one has 38 bulbs, as unlike that one. Okay, now in the road LED, now there is the Peerlight recently brought out a fitting called the Mindmaster. Second generation, it actually uses one of these road LED panels. Believe it or not, it actually does. And this has got a bit of weight to it too. It's the same thickness, I think. Yeah, it's the same thickness. Well, this way, it's the same thickness. Okay. They're both made by Samsung, of course. This one here is LP410-17, it's hard to see underneath that dimple, 7A. And it says Road LED 38EA on there, and it's made by Samsung. The date of this one was made in, it's hard, it doesn't have a date on it. But it does have a barcode on it right there. The street LED one is an LP4101051U. Okay, so that's the difference. I'll just get a ruler and I'll measure them, so I'll give you some sizes on them very quick. Okay, so yeah, with these you can actually purchase these separately. Okay, so if you had a street LED or a road LED and all of a sudden the panel went bad, you can simply just buy another panel. It's actually a cheaper option than just replacing the entire fitting because the fittings are not cheap. So you're better off just buying another panel, okay, and putting it in because it's very easy to do. There's 4 screws that hold the panel on. You undo those 4 screws, you unplug it, okay, you plug the new panel in, put it back in, and tighten it up. Now on the street LED, there's a reflector that goes around it. The road LED doesn't have it, okay? Now with the road LED, to change the panel, you actually have to take this cover off of here, undo these screws. There's about 12 of them. Okay, there's 12 screws you got to undo, and then you unplug it from here. Then you got to pull the lead out. You get the new panel, slide the lead in, plug it in, put this cover back on, tighten up the screws, then put it back in the fitting and tighten it up. And then you've just changed your fitting to a new panel. Now these are neutral white, but I believe you can get them in cool white and warm white as well. So neutral white is the same color temperature as the tubes in the Clevertronics mat. So I'll measure them for you. Okay. So the road LED long wise is, let's see here. It is 17.7 centimeters that way. Long ways, it is 12.7 centimeters that way. Okay. Now we'll measure the thickness of it. This way, you're looking about 6 millimeters that way. Down here, 5 millimeters. I'll measure this part here from this side to the LEDs, 9 centimeters. Okay, so that's that one. Now the street LED panel, we'll measure that. It is 16 centimeters that way, so it should be 16 centimeters squared. Oh no, this way it's a little bit longer. It's 16.7 centimeters that way. Well, probably because of the extra length. I'll measure the thickness once again. This way it is, you're looking at 7 mil. This way you're looking at 6 mil. And across again, you're looking at 13 centimeters again. Okay, so that's some measurements for you. So these are very good panels. They're both pretty bright actually, despite the size of the bulbs. The bulbs are very small. Okay, and these covers come off. I'll just undo this one because I've had to undo it to take the panel out of the fitting. So I can just undo the screws with my fingers. Okay, it's now you got to be really careful with these screws because when you take them out, be sure you have somewhere to put them because you don't want to lose them. Okay, because if you lose your screws, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay, because you need to, the fitting will still work without this cover on. I've tried it without the cover on, it still works, but it's not, you probably won't get accuracy out of it. So you're better off keeping the cover on. The screw, this thing is quite interesting as it has these rubber grommets around the screws and it has this rubber seal, so I'm assuming it's waterproof. Okay, now the fitting cover should just lift out, up and off. Oh, dropping screws. Now this is plastic. Okay, I think it's, or it could be polypropylene, I don't know. So that lifts up. So we're going to set that there. Okay, being careful not to lose any of the screws. Okay, so we're going to set that there. Oop. So here's what it looks like without the cover on. You can see all the bulbs. You can see how tiny they are. Now there was another user on YouTube who had a street LED and he took it apart to that where the drivers failed. The panel was working fine. He actually took it apart and showed us the LEDs, and he accidentally blew one of them by overloading it. But this is what it looks like. There's where you plug your lead in. So you run your lead in through here. There's a rubber grommet that goes around there. You plug it in. And it's also got this sticker on here. I'll just give you a close-up of that, if you can see if it will focus. Come on, focus for me. But it's SAL, and there's a little barcode. It says 4000K on it. And there's the model, and that's actually a 7 right there. And we got some more information there. And of course, it's made by Samsung. So very good. It's got this nice rubber seal around here to help keep water out, even though the fitting is watertight. So that's the Road LED panel without the cover on. And for reference, I'll even open up the street LED one. Okay. We'll open this one up. Once again, you've got to undo these screws. There's probably the same number. I think there's 12 screws to undo. There's 3 per side. 3 per side. The Road LED has 4 on one side and 2 on the other side. Probably because it is a rectangle. And this street LED panel is also used in some other things that Sylvania offers as well, such as I think the Parkville LED, I believe. They have this type of panel. They installed some of these up in the ACT near Canberra, near Parliament, and they had, I think it was 7 of these square panels in the fittings, which was quite interesting as well. And these panels are very good quality compared to other rubbish that you might find. They're not as bright, probably not as bright as those LED floodlights that you can get, but they're quite good. So if you had you could take the panels out. If you had the right stuff, you could probably make your own light fitting out of these. Probably should have unscrewed this before the video. Would have made things a little bit easier, but never mind. This is just for a little education on how these work, because I'm a lighting enthusiast. It looks like you can drill an extra hole there because there's a mark there, so it looks like you can actually put an extra hole in there. Okay, so now we've undone it. Okay, so now we're just going to lift it up. Oop, that's if I can without losing any of the screws, because I don't want to lose them. Okay, and the screws appear to have a bit of Loctite on them too, so that's really good to have a bit of Loctite, that blue stuff, on the threading. So yeah, so this is the plastic cover. I don't know if you can purchase this part separately. If not, you actually have to replace the entire panel. Okay, it's always good to have replacement parts for your street lights, because it's just useful that way. Okay, so this is the street LED panel without the cover on. Okay, you can see the bulbs. Once again, I'll get a good shot. Identical, the same. They're both the same bulbs. Okay, this one has a different seal around it. This one's actually transparent, as this one here, it's a frosted grey. And these are heavy. These things are heavy. And you can probably see this little pattern here on the circuit board. And there's your power lead there. It's the same as this one, but I didn't have to take it out because it unplugs on the back there. You've got a blue wire, which I believe is neutral, and a red one, which I believe is active. And once again, the number's right there. So if you saw that other user's channel, this is what it looks like. And I believe, and he popped one of the bulbs. I think it was this one here that he popped, I believe. The bulb blew, and he tried to get it going, but apparently he couldn't. So he only had, so that's just shame. When depending on what you want these on, you got to run them on the appropriate gear, because if you pop a bulb, it's not very good. Okay, so they're very good panels, very nice. I actually think these are quite cool. Okay, so if you have a road LED or a street LED and for some reason the panel went bad, what you do is you just go to Sylvania or Grand Lighting, just tell them the number that's on there. That number there, I think that's the part number. Just quote that number and they'll send you another panel. Okay, I don't know what the price is, but they're probably not cheap because these are very well built, very robust. They're pretty solid. Made of very thick material, ridiculously thick. It's probably the same kind of material as what I think probably door jambs and mortar stocks are made of, that very tough. I don't know if that's steel or die cast. Could even be steel or titanium. I don't know what this metal is. Yeah, but it is very expensive looking. It's got very nice crafting. It just shows how good quality they are and how good Sylvania's lights are compared to a lot of other rubbish out there. These things will last for generations. They're better quality, none of this analog bullshit of rubbish of the old days. These things will last for years to come. So that's good. If I can get some spare panels, it'll probably be good. So maybe, well, I do have more work experience coming up, so I'll be going back to the same place. I'll probably be able to get more panels. Just strip some fittings and get the panels. So the Street LED MK Mark 1, which was the previous generation to the one I have, took the same panel. And those were the ones that other user actually salvaged. He found a couple of them in the bin, and apparently the drivers failed for some reason. The drivers were made by Philips. The drivers in mine, however, are actually made by Sylvania, and they're actually probably a little bit better built. So there's probably no chance that I'll have a failing driver. So yeah, once again, you can purchase the drivers separately. So if your driver fails, just buy a new one. Okay, because it's cheaper than buying a new fitting. It's just like with the old analog ones. If a ballast fails, buy a new ballast. Okay, it's cheaper than replacing the fitting. Okay, because the new fitting, because these, once again, they are not cheap. So you don't want to be just throwing them away like that. Okay. And of course this goes on here, but I will need to take this off because I need to put it back into the light. Okay, so they just screw back on. Once again, I'm just gonna finger tighten these because I'm gonna need to snap a photo for the video thumbnail and then I'll put them back together. Okay, but if you're a street light engineer and you need a new panel, just replace the panel, because that's what I would do if I come across a fitting with a panel that wasn't working. I just replace the panel. If it were the driver, just replace the driver. So there you go. So that's the Sylvania street LED and road LED panels up close. So hopefully that's given you a little idea on how they are and how they work. Once again, you've got these grooves here for the cable to run through on the road LED. Okay, so the road LED looks a little smaller than the street LED panel, but it is what it is. Okay, the road LED is a rectangle, as the street LED is a square. Now this road LED one is also used on the road LED MIDI as well, and it's also used on some other fittings. Even the P-Light MindMaster actually uses one of these. Okay, the second generation. If I can get one of those, that would be probably cool. Okay, despite the size of those bulbs, they are very bright. Okay, the Road LED has either 2, 3, or 4 of these panels, and it does a good job. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed, and that'll be it.